I am 33 years old and go by the name Linda. After spending time in an office, I found my niche as a web designer. I used to work for a firm, but now I do contract work as a freelancer. Remote work is my specialty. Jerry is 6 years my junior. He's my husband. Because he is a salesperson for a company that deals with household goods, he is constantly on the go. We couldn't be more different, Jerry and I. While he's calm and patient, even though his sales take longer, I prefer to work swiftly and efficiently on my computer. I think Jerry's charming clumsiness is one of his best qualities. A group dating event is where we first crossed paths. I went merely to fill a quota, but Jerry took an immediate shine to me. The age gap was irrelevant to him when he said, "I like you." Even though I wasn't first enthusiastic, I warmed up to him when he persisted. Jerry has a big heart and is a wonderful family man. Olivia is 8 years his junior and is his younger sister. She was in middle school at the tender age of 15 when we began dating. The family's pride and joy is this unexpected newborn girl who is significantly younger than her siblings. Her teachers believe she's great since she does so well in class. Every time he speaks about her, Jerry is filled with pride, yet he can't help but feel anxious about something. He has assured me on multiple occasions that Olivia's parents would love for her to attend an elite private high school, but that they are financially strapped. The cost of sending Olivia to a private school would significantly increase Jerry's college expenses. Olivia desires to attend a private school, but her family cannot afford it. Jerry thinks she would grasp the matter if they just told her. Nonetheless, his folks are adamant that she get this opportunity. They hope that their children would not have to endure the hardships that they did as they worked hard in agriculture throughout their life. That's why they looked into Jerry's college options. Because they have given so much, his parents' desires are difficult to disobey. For this reason, Jerry puts aside as much money as he can and works part-time on weekends. Upon hearing it from Jerry, I was taken aback. He looks much older than me, despite being 6 years my junior. Looking back, I can see that Olivia was under a great deal of pressure from Jerry and his folks. I naively believed they were simply a nice family who were concerned about her future. I wed Jerry at the age of 32, 3 years after we began dating. Our wedding was a year ago, and we're still loving every moment of being husband and wife. I get along great with Jerry's family, and we haven't fought once. Our marriage is secure and fulfilling. We are not yet parents because we are fully committed to our careers. We still intend to have a family at some point, and we will consider it when the time is appropriate, despite the fact that we are getting on in years. Nonetheless, it doesn't concern me too much. The tight bond that Jerry shares with his sister Olivia is something that worries me. Olivia began her senior year of high school this past fall at a prestigious private institution in the metropolis. She rented an apartment near ours because it is so distant from the countryside where she had resided. I can see why Jerry's parents would want him to take care of her. The issue is that Olivia never leaves our house. She keeps knocking on our door and repeatedly asks, "Jerry, are you home?" "I'm nearby, so it's fine," she'd cheerfully exclaim as she sat on the couch, embracing my husband. Jerry seemed awkward, but I think he secretly liked it. She was always smiling. As an observer, I couldn't help but feel envious of their closeness as siblings. "Olivia, would you like some tea or juice?" "Excuse me," I inquired. "Tea," she said hastily with an air of rudeness that irritated me. "I can make it for you this time, but next time you'll have to do it yourself. That's not how you ask," I told her, suppressing the want to tell her it was unreasonable. "You know, I'm working from home, so I can't really put my feet up any time I want." Making the tea was my next step. Even though Olivia is capable of putting on an air of politeness when she wants to, her demeanor shifts when we are alone. "Oh, my friend's calling," Jerry abruptly announced before snatching his phone and bolting out of the room. Olivia went from warm to icy the second the door shut. My brother married someone like you, so why? He doesn't think you're good enough. Were you attempting to extort him or what? Well, maybe I know some big secret about your brother, and that's why I did it. I responded with a cheeky smile, keeping my cool. "Ha! What nonsense!" she exclaimed, her irritation evident. "You don't frighten me. Being handled with such insensitivity is rather bothersome. You would be more attractive and youthful. I don't feel comfortable talking to someone your age." Attempting to maintain my composure, I responded, "Well, I suppose I must seem old to a high school student like you. But don't forget, you're more than just a brother to him. Shouldn't you be helping him out a little more?" she continued. I was taken aback. Olivia didn't understand how things actually worked. Maybe it was her age. "Actually, I make more than you think," I replied calmly. "Really? Hard to believe," she scoffed. "Jerry's covering most of the bills, isn't he? You should be thankful he's earning so well." I was speechless. Her dismissiveness stung, and she wasn't even willing to listen. Seeing my frustration, Olivia smirked. "Lost for words, huh? Don't expect me to keep quiet about this," she added with a mischievous glint in her eye. She was clearly looking to pick a fight. I decided it was best to keep quiet and let her talk. Then I noticed Jerry's call had ended and his footsteps approached. The moment he walked in, Olivia's whole demeanor shifted. She beamed at him, her voice turning sweet. "Jerry, was your call okay?" she asked. He sat on the sofa. "Yeah, just a quick confirmation." "Great," I said, handing him a cup of tea. "Drink it before it gets cold." "Thanks," he replied, smiling. Watching Olivia's icy attitude melt into warmth was shocking. Around Jerry, she seemed like a completely different person. Dealing with her alone was never easy, but I dismissed it as jealousy and didn't tell Jerry, knowing she'd only become bolder. "So, what's for dinner?" she asked, leaning over the counter. "Stew," I replied casually. "All right," she said, though I could tell she had other thoughts. But today, things took a different turn. While I was making dinner and Jerry was in the restroom, she suddenly came up behind me, leaning over my shoulder. I could feel the tension. Then, out of nowhere, she did something I hadn't anticipated. "Oops, my hand slipped," she said with a smirk, grabbing the pot and throwing it into the sink with a loud crash. The sound jolted me. My carefully prepared stew was ruined, splattered everywhere. Shocked, I quickly turned off the stove, while Olivia stood there, grinning. "Are you okay?" Jerry rushed in, hearing the noise. "Oh, I'm sorry." She startled me, and I accidentally dropped the pot, Olivia said smoothly. "Linda, were you hurt?" Jerry asked, concerned. "Yes, I'm fine," I whispered, trying to keep calm. It was astounding how easily she twisted the situation. For the first time, I questioned if her actions were deliberate. If things had gone wrong, I could have been seriously burned. Once Olivia left, I couldn't keep silent any longer and told Jerry everything. "Did she really mean to throw the pot? What on earth?" Jerry said, stunned. "I think so," I replied. "Usually, she's just rude, but this crossed a line." "I'm sorry," he said, visibly upset. "I didn't realize she could do something like this. I'll have a serious talk with her." I had hesitated, worried it might damage their relationship, but I couldn't ignore this any longer. The next day, Jerry spoke to Olivia, issuing a stern warning. That evening, she came by to apologize, looking genuinely sorry. "It's okay as long as you understand," I replied firmly. "But please don't pull something dangerous like that again." She seemed sincere, so I decided to let it go, hoping we'd moved past it, but I was far from prepared for what lay ahead. A few weeks later, as Jerry and I planned a 5-day getaway, Olivia cut in one evening. "Jerry, are you planning a trip?" she asked, her voice sharp. "Indeed, we're departing for the extended weekend," Jerry acknowledged. "A journey?" Surprisingly, Olivia also expressed her want to go. We had planned for this vacation to be a romantic getaway. Jerry sensed my unease and calmly stated, "This trip is to celebrate our wedding anniversary, so it's only for us." "No, that is unfair." Olivia expressed her want to accompany him. "My apologies, Olivia." Jerry spoke slowly and gently. "Another time we can arrange for a family vacation. Why don't you return home and spend the weekend with Mom for the time being? If anything were to happen, we won't be able to help because we're not around." Jerry had to ask Olivia multiple times before she would accept, yet she still didn't appear delighted. Our vacation was just perfect, so we went ahead and did it. Jerry and I were able to spend some quality time alone for the first time recently. We shopped for trinkets, enjoyed local cuisine, and saw famous landmarks. In the hopes that it would encourage Olivia to modify her attitude, we went to the store and bought her some sweets. But then something out of the ordinary occurred on the way back to our house. After our excursion, we hailed a cab at the station. However, the driver scowled when Jerry attempted to pay with his credit card. "Strange, your credit card seems to be rejected," he pointed out. "That's strange," Jerry said, his expression betraying his confusion. "If the card doesn't work, I'll simply pay with cash. Could you kindly hold on for a second while I retrieve some funds from the house?" I apologized to the driver as he continued to process Jerry's card. I decided to dash home to fetch some cash because we didn't have much left over from our excursion, and the card reader didn't seem to be working. Something seemed wrong the moment I opened the front door. Although nothing appeared to be amiss, an eerie vibe pervaded the atmosphere. Putting my fears aside, I made my way to the living room. As I cautiously opened the door, everything appeared to be in order. "Olivia, are you home?" "Hey," I yelled. "Yes, I'm here," was the response we received from our bedroom. I didn't understand. Olivia was meant to be at her parents' house. I ran to the bedroom in a panic. "Olivia, I need to know why you're in here." I announced that this was our bedroom. But there was a major problem. In addition to being spotless, the room was surprisingly vacant. Aside from the desk and dresser, several other items had vanished. Not a single one of my cushions or pillows was there. I opened the closet, and all of my clothes were gone, along with my accessories, little keepsakes, and even my graduation album. My belongings have disappeared. As my anxiety level skyrocketed, I looked across at Olivia for comfort. "It seems like my belongings are the only ones that went gone. I don't understand what happened." "Excuse me," I inquired. Olivia made a sarcastic noise and laughed out loud. "Oh, did you find out? I threw away all of your stuff because it was trash." "Why would you do that?" Shocked, I inquired. "I simply do not approve of you," she stated with an air of frigid certainty. "It was all an act. The apology I made, it was for my brother's sake, not yours." I made it clear to him that I am extremely enraged. "In the end, I decided to kick you out because it drives me insane that he uses his money to feed you and take you on vacations. You have no business being here. All you are is a low-income house worker." The news seemed so unbelievable to me. At this point, Olivia's wrath was showing through in her yelling. It was plenty for me. "All right," I managed to keep my voice composed as I threatened to leave if that was your opinion. "But don't regret this." "Nothing will I ever regret, you know. Just get out," she snapped. "Oh, and I left your work bag and computer? You would be the only one whose work would be impacted if I disposed of those. I'm in the living room with them. Just grab them and run." I returned to the cab after rummaging in the living room for my tools. In the elevator, I happened to run into Jerry. "You were quite slow, but the car did its job in the end. Could something be wrong?" he inquired, perplexed. "Just ask Olivia," I whispered, my voice quivering. Jerry seemed taken aback, but I responded calmly nevertheless. Subtly, I escaped the apartment, suppressing my wrath. I wasted no time getting a night's stay at a nearby hotel. Jerry tried to get in touch with me multiple times while I was in transit, but I didn't return his calls until I was safely in my hotel. Upon hearing Linda's voice, Jerry immediately apologized. Olivia is back at her house now. It never occurred to me that things would play out this way. I believe her anger stems from the fact that I was honest with you. Where do we go from here? Given the amount of your belongings that were disposed of, should we inform the authorities about this? The police? I inquired, slightly taken aback. Absolutely not. I will not do that. I can't believe I've lost my mementos, but I know that things can always be replaced. The cops will likely brush it off as a domestic dispute if we report it. Olivia's future is something that concerns me more. Will you be of assistance? Absolutely, Jerry responded with an air of resolve. Please, I can't have her behave like way any longer. I need you to tell me what to do. After hearing his words of encouragement, we settled on a strategy to deal with Olivia's conduct. It was agreed that we would be strong with her and let her face the true repercussions of her actions. A woman in her 40s would not take it lightly if Olivia acted out. It had been 3 months since I'd left home. Staying at my parents' house was tranquil, and although I missed Jerry, we kept in touch and saw each other on weekends, so everything was okay. It took some time for me to adjust to my new life, but I'm actually enjoying it. Having a respite from housework was a relief, and I loved eating my mom's prepared meals. The 3 months had passed, though, and Olivia had paid Jerry multiple visits. According to Jerry, she appeared content as she contemplated the possibility of a divorce. I can only fathom the arrogance she must have felt upon winning, though it may seem that such at times. As I helped my mom with dinner one evening after work, Jerry gave me a call. Did she show up? I asked. Yeah, he replied, sounding concerned. She's really panicked. It seemed that Olivia had realized things weren't going as she planned and was now pleading with Jerry for help. I put down my cooking tools, sensing that this was serious. I'm coming home, I told Jerry. He understood. When I returned home, the familiar warmth of the house wrapped around me. I slipped off my shoes and headed to the living room where everything seemed calm and normal. Linda, you're back, Jerry greeted me with a smile. But the moment I entered, I noticed Olivia waiting for me. Her eyes, narrow and frustrated, met mine as she knelt on the floor, glaring. Why are you here? She asked with a hint of anger. I told you to leave. Staying calm, I took a deep breath and replied softly, I heard you might get expelled if your tuition isn't paid. Is that true? Be quiet. This has nothing to do with you, Olivia snapped. My brother was covering the costs, but he just stopped out of nowhere. What's going on? She demanded, her voice trembling. Jerry stepped in, trying to calm her down. I was waiting for Linda to get home before explaining everything. What do you mean? Olivia asked, uncertain. Looking at her, I said gently, actually, I'm the one who's been paying your tuition. Her eyes widened in shock. For her private high school, the tuition was around $80,000 over 4 years. I had already paid half. If I couldn't pay the next year's fee, her enrollment would be canceled. I chose to handle it myself because Jerry and her parents couldn't afford it. Olivia just stared, frozen. Finally, her voice shook as she asked, Why would you spend that much? You could just work from home or something. I do work from home, I replied, but the job is the same whether I'm in an office or not. I've just taken on more work to help out. Eyes burning with tears, she asked, Why didn't you just tell me? I didn't want to cause tension between you and Jerry. I was ready to deal with a little criticism for that. I replied evenly, but throwing out my things, that crossed the line. I didn't know you were paying, she insisted, voice rising in desperation. You don't have to believe me, I murmured, but if I stop, you won't be able to finish high school. "No, I can't drop out," Olivia said, breaking down in tears. "Then you need to take responsibility for your actions," I told her firmly. "Why should I?" she shot back, her tone defensive. "Because, Olivia, your behavior has been unacceptable," Jerry interjected. "Linda made it possible for you to attend a great school. If this keeps up, you may have to drop out." Olivia looked at us, struggling with her emotions. "Linda, I'm sorry," she finally whispered. "What was that? I didn't quite hear you," I replied, not letting her off easily. "I'm sorry," she said, voice shaking. "I didn't realize. Please just let me stay in school." "Are you really sorry?" I asked, watching her closely. "Yes, I am," she said, her eyes wet. "I wouldn't be apologizing if I didn't mean it." But despite her words, her regret still felt distant to me. "All right then," I said quietly. "From now on, you'll be responsible for all the housework." She gasped. "What? You need to pay me back for the things you threw out," I continued, my tone firm. "You'll help around the house and act responsibly." "Why should I have to do that?" she protested. "If you'd rather not, just let me know," I replied calmly. "But if that's the case, I won't be able to cover your tuition anymore, or the cost of the school trip." "What? I can't miss the school trip," Olivia exclaimed, clutching her hands in frustration. "Then you'll need to help with chores every day for a year," I stated evenly. "Otherwise, I may have to report your actions." "What about the law enforcement?" "Are you kidding me?" Olivia's tone was quivering. "You haven't shown a real regret." I refused to budge. I refused to see any other way, I declared. "Very well, I get it." Her expression turning pale and her energy level plummeting, she pleaded with him not to contact the authorities. She appeared to finally be taking my tough stance seriously, so it must have worked. From that point on, Olivia dutifully carried out all of the housekeeping tasks as I had requested. She became more proficient at housekeeping chores, laundry, and cooking as time passed. She clearly had success as a result of her efforts. She became more proficient and proud of her achievements. She started to enjoy cooking and even dabbled in recipe experimenting after a while. She began having friends and family around to share her delicious creations after they turned out so wonderfully. Olivia began to treat me differently after that. Jerry, who kept a careful watch on her actions, also helped lead her. Over the course of a year, she oversaw the household chores, and I could see a marked improvement in her character. Her demeanor changed as she started to express gratitude for little things. Her once unyielding character seems to soften with time. Olivia aced her college admission examinations during her senior year of high school and earned a spot in her dream university. "I was able to finish high school thanks to your help," she told me, her face beaming with excitement. "Thank you so much." "Your work was excellent. Congratulations," I said, my heart overflowing with joy for her. As she embarked on a new chapter in her life, I truly wanted to be there for her. We decided to put the past in the past because Olivia had grown to mean a lot to our family. She approached me one day with an unusual request. "I want to handle my university fees on my own, using a scholarship," she whispered. My astonishment was obvious. "Do you mean it? Is doing it something you truly desire?" "Excuse me?" I inquired. She said with conviction, "Yes, I want to handle everything on my own." "Olivia," I remarked, profoundly affected by her choice. My heart swelled with joy as I witnessed her growing up and becoming more independent. How much she had grown up moved Jerry as well. "If you ever require assistance, please don't hesitate to ask," he reassured her with warmth. I spoke softly, and she gave me a grateful glance. "Yes, I am incredibly grateful," she expressed. Olivia then began her time at university. Despite juggling her classes, part-time jobs, and extracurriculars, she remained cheerful and positive. She consistently achieved passing grades in all of her classes. She devoted her last year to researching and writing the thesis. She was able to secure employment at her dream workplace in the end. We are not concerned about Olivia's future since she is now an adult and completely self-sufficient. At the same time, Jerry and I became parents to a little boy who is now 6 years old, not long ago. Our kid loves having Olivia over to play, and the three of us are very much enjoying our shared home. Despite my initial apprehension, I am eternally grateful for Olivia's transformation and the way she has grown closer to our family. Our family is committed to maintaining close ties for many years to come.